SaveTheCode.com.
Google engineers created the term Progressive Web Apps in 2015. These new web apps combine the best of the web and the best of apps, taking advantage of new features supported by modern browsers. Progressive web apps are reliable and secure, fast, working offline or on low-quality networks, engaging, responsive, and installable, skipping App Store download.
The setup.
Hi guys, welcome to SaveTheCode.com YouTube channel. We're going to build an Angular5 progressive web app. First, we have to install Node.js. You can download it from nodejs.org. We also need Angular CLI. Go to cli.angular.io and run first command from their installation steps, npm install command. Now we are going to check we've got all requirements installed by checking versions. Node.js, npm, Angular CLI. We are going to create an Angular5 app just by running a simple command. Then we check everything is okay, enter into Angular application we've just created and check Angular CLI versions. As you can see, install Angular version and main dependencies are listed. There are a few requirements to make a full compatible progressive web app. We'll see this later, but meanwhile we're going to create app favicons and main configuration files. You can do this using online tools, for example realfavicon-generator.net. Just select your app logo and wait for processing to be done. This tool provides different options. We're going to define app name only, then click on Generate button. Once full package is generated, select first option to download your package. Finally, extract its contents into your Angular app source assets directory.
Configuration.
Open Angular app with your source code editor. Go to source assets directory. We can see all favicons generated before and two configuration files. Open manifest.json. Add sort name property. Add /assets/ as a prefix in favicons path. And finally add start property to main index.html file. Then open browser config XML and add /assets/ as a prefix in favicon path. Now it's time to configure index.html. Select default viewport and favicon lines and replace them by following code to define standard configuration for favicons, app name, and theme color. Then add manifest and browser config references and no script tag. It's time to add a service worker to our application. The easiest way to do it is by using Google SW Precache module. You can find it on GitHub. This module will generate a dynamic service worker based on your application just by a tiny configuration file. Go to Install section and copy command to install it locally. Run this command in your Angular app directory. We've got to create SW Precache config JavaScript file in app root directory. Copy following code into this file to define paths and files to be precached by the browser. You can see all config references to this directory. Well, this is the directory where Angular CLI generates app compiled sources. Then we have to activate our service worker in main.ts file. Replace default bootstrap line by following code to activate the service worker if it's supported by browser. To check if everything is okay, we are going to add the service worker generation npm command to package.json file. Then just run the task.
Running the application.
let's add some npm tasks to package JSON for development workflow and modify app component HTML just for presentation purposes. Then run the Angular app in dev AOT mode and open it in Chrome browser. Raise the web inspector. The first you can see in the console is a service worker registration error. Don't panic, this is normal. We are working in dev mode and no service worker has been generated. Go to Application tab and check the manifest. There has to be 2 images registered as well as the config parameters we defined in manifest.json file before. Then check service workers. There is no info because there is no service worker in dev mode as we said before. Now we are going to perform a progressive web app audit. It takes a while and you'll see that some checks didn't pass. Don't worry, remember, we are in dev mode.
Deploying in Firebase.
We are going to deploy the app in Firebase hosting system. Enter with your Google account in Firebase console and add a new project. Define your app name and select your region. Once project is created, select hosting option and follow instructions to install Firebase in your computer. Then log in into Firebase and init your project. You have to select hosting option and the project you created. Select Angular compilation directory disk and say yes to single page app. OK, Firebase stuff done. Click on finish and now you can see your Firebase project URL. Back to source code, we are going to add the deploy task to compile the app in AOT mode, generate service worker and deploy into Firebase. And run this task. Open your Firebase app URL in Chrome and open the inspector. Check that there is no errors in console. Check service worker and manifest in application tab and perform an audit. Your app must be 100% progressive and all checkpoints must be passed. Well, finally, we are going to check our progressive web app in a mobile device.
The progressive web app.
Open your Firebase app URL in Chrome. Wait a sec, sometimes you have to make some kind of interaction. Just swipe down a bit. You can see a menu to add your app to your home screen. Accept it and it will be installed. Just open your app and that's it. You can subscribe to Save the Code YouTube channel if you like this video or visit savethecode.com. Thanks for watching and see you soon.